Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a hidden system that's running in plain sight, the U.S. tax code. But we're going to look at it from an angle you probably never have before. This one sentence just hits you, right? It perfectly captures this crazy contradiction where billions of dollars are pouring into the government's pockets from people the system itself often pretends don't even exist. It's a paradox right at the very heart of the American economy. So let's unpack this idea of the shadow ledger. Think of it like this. It's the unofficial off-the-books accounting of all the contributions made by millions of people the system wants to keep invisible. It's the money that's funding the roads you drive on, the schools, the whole shebang, all while you're told to stay in the shadows. But here's the big promise for today's explainer. We are going to flip that script completely. We're going to explore how you can stop being a victim of this confusing system and start using the tax code as a powerful tool. A shield, really, to prove your value, your character, and your place here. Every single tax season, this is the paralyzing choice, isn't it? Do you file and basically put your name on a giant government list, just asking for someone to take a closer look? Or do you stay hidden and risk being seen as someone who isn't pulling their weight, someone who can just be brushed aside? It's this impossible trap between the fear of being seen and the absolute danger of being invisible. Now, let's get into how this whole thing creates a massive psychological battle. See, the system's rules are designed to contradict each other. And that's not an accident. It's meant to keep you in this constant state of confusion and uncertainty. Okay, look at the cold, hard logic on this slide. The IRS, for the most part, doesn't care about your visa or your immigration papers. They use something called the substantial presence test. And it's just math. It's a formula based on how many days you've been physically in the country. If you hit their numbers, that's it. In their eyes, you owe them taxes. End of story. And this slide just lays out the split-screen reality perfectly. On the left, the IRS is calling you a resident and holding its hand out for your money. But on the right, immigration law might be calling you an alien and denying you basic rights. You're literally forced to live in two completely different, conflicting realities at the exact same time. And let's call this what it is. It's financial gaslighting. It's a system designed to make you question what's real. It needs your work, it needs your tax dollars to function, but it denies you the stability and the security that should absolutely come with that contribution. The whole point is to keep you productive, but always precarious, always on edge. All right, so that's the problem, that's the trap, but what's the way out? Let's pivot and talk about how you can take this weapon that's been aimed at you and turn it into your shield. This is where payment becomes proof. 20 years. Just let that number sink in. Imagine working and contributing for 2 decades, building the very skyline of a city. That's the story of one construction worker. For 20 years, he used an ITIN, that's an individual taxpayer identification number, to file his taxes. Year after year, he paid in, even paying into Social Security, fully believing he'd never see a single dime of it back. It must have felt like just throwing money into a black hole. But then, when his day in court finally came, his lawyer didn't bring out his hard hat or his work boots to prove he'd been a part of the community. No. He brought out 2 decades of tax transcripts. And this is the whole point. He wasn't just paying taxes. With every single one of those filings, he was buying an official government-stamped receipt, a receipt that proved he was here, that he was contributing, and that he was a person of good character. He was building an undeniable paper trail of his life in this country. That story gives us an incredible framework. So let's get practical. Let's lay out the exact steps you can take. This is your empowerment playbook, especially with some big tax changes on the horizon for 2026. Okay, let's walk through this playbook. Step 1, claim your identity. Get an ITIN. This isn't just some random number. It is your official entry into the financial system. It's your footprint. 2, build your paper shield. You have to file your taxes every single year, no exceptions. This creates that official, undeniable timeline of your life here that no one can argue with. 3, activate the advocate. You need to know about the Taxpayer Advocate Service. It's an independent group inside the IRS whose job is to help you fight back if your money gets frozen or you're getting the runaround. 4, audit your debt. If you have financial trouble, you have to document everything. Why? So you can prove it's a financial problem, not a moral failing or some flaw in your character. And finally, 5, watch the 2026 shift. Global tax laws are changing, and that's going to affect how money is tracked around the world. You've got to stay on top of it to protect yourself. So now you've got the playbook. Let's zoom out for a second. What's the one big idea, the final takeaway you should have from all of this? Let's just be real for a moment. This whole situation feels unfair because it is unfair. That feeling of building a society that doesn't fully claim you back, it's a heavy, heavy weight. It really is like building a house you're not allowed to live in. But, and this is the mindset shift that changes everything, every single tax return you file flips that dynamic on its head. It becomes your official receipt. It is undeniable, government-stamped proof of your hard work, your presence, and your value. And what that means is you are no longer just a worker. You are a stakeholder. You have a documented official investment in this country, and that paper trail, that's your power. So, you've now learned how to turn the shadow ledger into your shield. But there is another invisible system you have to master. We call it the ghost score. It's the hidden number that determines whether you can get a loan, buy a home, or even start a business. Next time, we're going to show you how to build that ghost score from